after I get these.
Yeah, I would say if you don't mind that, then I would say start. You can get your domain, your email address, your website, your booking quality, get all of those things done. And then you can start with like, then you can go ahead and take care of the LLC and the business account. Because if you don't care about the funds being separated, then you can do those things while you're waiting for the LLC to be taken care of, because you really want to start hiring as soon as possible.
So how about also how about the I guess I could get a quote, I guess, for the insurance.
Yes, you can shop around and get quotes as well. Next, Hiscox. There's the one that we have that taught the insurance training. Canopy, I think is their company name. So yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Set up Gusto too. Should I set
Yes.
up and then Stripe or Square or PayPal?
I personally wouldn't recommend PayPal. PayPal, I feel, is not as like business friendly. They're more consumer friendly. I don't have experience with Square. There are some that utilize Square. I don't have anything about it. I just never used it. So, it's kind of like I just don't have enough to know about them. I've used Stripe for a very, very long time, almost since like that company has been available. I mean, I've been with them for a very, very long time. So I'm just so used to Stripe. And
Okay.
I love how Stripe helps you to fight disputes as well.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to go ahead and to know regarding that. So,
Yeah.
okay. So the only thing I'm going to be, okay. So register business and then the EIN number and then the business account. I'm going to go ahead and wait on those until I get my LLC.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other things I can go ahead and hit the ground. Can I set up Thumbtack?
Yes, you can set up Thumbtack, you can set up your Google. I mean, definitely want to start on that Google verification, because that process could take some time. But with you doing the Google LSA, you will need insurance though, so you will have to have insurance in order to get verified for the actual LSA leads.
Okay, I'll leave that for towards the end. That's what I'll go
You
ahead.
you can save it towards the end because of the insurance part, but definitely start on the getting your Google My Business page approved. Because like I said, that can take, I've been working with the client for, man, maybe a month now, trying to get, now her account was different because it was suspended and we had to get it unsuspended and verified, and we thought we got it verified, and now it's not saying it's verified, so now we got to like figure out why. So there's just so many requirements, strict requirements when it comes to the Google My Business page.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. I think those are all my questions for now.
And then also in the meantime, if you can, to start the hiring too.
Okay, so look, I mean, well, start getting a job description together.
Yeah, there's sample job descriptions in the academy, but you do want to start the hiring because, like I said, hiring and Google are like going to be the two longest, like unpredictable time frames, that it could be really long or it could not be. And you just don't want to have everything, like, we've been talking about, and you get everything and you're like, yo, Jazz, everything is done, but now like I don't have cleaners yet. So that's my only thing. I just don't want you to have to wait so long to get also the cleaners too.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Awesome. Awesome.
Sounds
All right. I see some of you guys have rolled in. Hello. I see some has dropped off too. Maybe they're trying to get back in. But hello. Happy Tuesday, y'all. So we are here for our Q&A. And like always, this is super informal. I don't know if we have any new faces because I see a couple iPhones So I don't know whom all is who, but you guys, Tuesday nights is meant for Q&A, right? So this is your opportunity to ask any questions that you may have throughout whichever process, no matter if you're currently in the process of setting it up or you're currently in the process of scaling, launching another location, trying new marketing efforts, whatever it may be, this is your opportunity to ask those questions. Also, you guys, I think I mentioned too, no, I did mention Tuesday that we is also for training as well. So I do have some new trainings that will be listed as well that will be posted. Also, another thing, I just spoke with Tamara. For those that may not know who Tamara is or familiar with Turn, Student Turn, I definitely encourage you guys to go check out that training. But Student Turn season is about to come up, is about to end. I spoke with her on yesterday, and she was just giving me an update on all the students that is working with her, where they're like on their third leg of of finishing and completing all of these turns. And some of the students have really, really large properties, like hundreds and hundreds of units, and some have small. Some students was able to secure multiple properties. And basically what Student Turn is, you guys, is, when school lets out, colleges let out, all those that were staying in dorms that was tied with apartments. So not necessarily dorms that are on college campuses, but college campuses will partner with apartment complex, and they will have dorms on those apartment complexes. So when students leave, and then when students come back in, right? So that's what is getting ready to happen right now. Students are returning back to school. Those units need to be cleaned. So of course they work with third-party cleaning vendors to come and provide a cleaning service. And I used to call the class vendor management, because that's pretty much the role that we take in that service, because the best way to maximize the profit with Student Turn is not just being a vendor management of cleaning, but being a vendor management of the cleaning, painting, and carpet. Those are the three services that are typically done within Student Turns, right? They come do the carpet, they do the painting, right? These young kids marking up walls and all the things, right? And then cleaning. So she is going to be offering a special training. Now, this training is outside of the academy, but she's going to be offering a special training as well. I'm going to put the details in the academy soon. We're kind of just trying to lock down a date. It will be in September. All academy members will have a discount though, so that is super dope. You guys will have a discount. But she is putting together a really good training that's going to talk about a lot of the things that happened during this turn season, a lot of changes that has developed since previous turn seasons, and bring in some of the students to talk about their experiences. But for those that are wanting to also expand and not just do residential, or you're like, maybe I'll test it out or prepare for it, because there's really two turn seasons. One in the wintertime, it's a very small season. It's not as big as the summer season, but you guys can start being prepared and getting prepared for next summer turn season. And she really only works with those, because she has a program, she has a class, but she teaches in here, okay? So she has a class, but like I said, she teaches in here, but she does also have a program to where she works one-on-one with clients as well, which is really cool. Like, she'll walk them through the whole process, help them with bidding, help them with counter bidding, help them with finding their people and other vendors, like pricing, all the things, like really helps them through that process. But she only takes on clients that come from the CO Cleaning Academy for that process, because she knows that everything else is already set up in alignment, perfectly ready for that next phase, because that's nothing to play with, y'all. Like, you're getting like 100K contracts, okay? Like, one of our students, she secured 200K contracts, and the other one was like 60. Okay. and the work. Now, of course, it was a lot of, bidding and communicating all the things that led up to it, but the actual work was just done like in a couple of weeks span, and she secured that very nice contract. So just to give you guys some updates. But for those that want to ask any questions, you guys can definitely ask any questions on live. Come off mute, come join me, or you can drop them in the chat. Either way, this is our live Q&A session for this week. And I'm looking forward to answering you guys' questions. So let's get started.
I was going to ask a question. So when you go ahead and you do that amount of cleaning, you only have normally, I guess, a few days on going ahead and doing 100+ units.
So you don't just work with one. Now it depends. If one company has a whole bunch of people, then of course that's ideal, right? But you don't just typically work with one company. You can typically work with several different companies. And one of the things is, she teaches all of this inside of the student training as well. But one of the things is you can stay on site. They will give you rooms and you can actually sleep and stay on site, because the work should be done continuously around the clock, 24 hours. So you'll have a morning team, an afternoon team, and or I guess late evening afternoon team, and then an overnight team. So you would have these done on the clock, continually going on and on and on. And people most times, the best way to do it is people are staying in on the property itself.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And it's just our job to manage the whole thing. And then one thing she implemented as well, and I don't know if you guys, some of you guys may have saw, some of you may not, but she also was teaching and training on actually putting an on-site manager put in place as well. So it's not even you managing all the people and all the teams, you're just managing the person that's managing all the things. And then so she talked about, hiring and putting somebody in place where they can stay on property, and then they manage all of the things. Because there was a couple of companies that was looking for people specifically to do that. And she was training people, because that's really good hands-on training as well, because then now you're on the ground, you're able to see all the motion and all the things that need to be done. So when it is your turn, you have real good experience with it as well. So I'm pretty sure she'll offer the same thing coming in December turn season as well.
Almost like a property management.
Pretty much the property managers are the ones that's hiring us. So right. It's pretty much vendor management. We're just managing all the vendors, setting the schedules, who needs to clean this, check it off, do quality control, making sure each unit is done properly. So yeah. Okay. It's a lot going on, but of course you can't expect to get paid all that money and it not be a lot going on. So
right.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a condensed time that you got to go ahead and get the wheel goes to continue moving.
Exactly. Like I say, some one person secured three different properties. Because you could literally, there are big Fortune 500 companies that just do this, and they will have 50, 60, college. Think of every single college. There are a lot of colleges. Think of areas where there's even more colleges, right? I'm here in Texas. There's heck of colleges here in Texas. And then so you can have them any and everywhere. So it's a really good, something that I never even heard about in the cleaning industry. So it's a really good space to get into.
Makes sense. It makes sense. Something I may down the line be interested in.
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And when I met her and she told me that her first deal that she made while sitting on the couch not doing nothing, I was like, hold on. You're gonna have to come tell me more about this. So yeah, it's definitely something to look into. Yes. Awesome. So who has any questions on this evening? Let me know how are things going. What phase are you guys currently in? Is everybody, I see some new names. Was everybody like in the building phase right now? Has people started hiring? How is your hiring process going? How is your funneling going? Or are you taking on clients, and how's that process going? Because that's when you understand like each phase will bring on its new opportunities, quote unquote challenges, right? But yes, let me know how things are going, you guys. When is a good time to start the journey for student turnover? So the actual student turnover, I think she says you want to start bidding in January, February-ish. You can start, selling and like not selling, but like, letting them know who you are around, January. Send them emails, just calling them up if you're local, visiting them, because you want to build that rapport, because it's there's a person that's there on site that's the one that's actually selecting who is going to be the vendor for their services. So January, February. And like I said, this is all also in the training as well. She talks about like the timelines and when everything should be done. And then you start bidding. And then I want to say May, June-ish is when like they let you know if they're going with your company. And then after that, then that's when you want to start securing your cleaning vendors and your cleaning contract and subcontracts of who you're going to be using, your painters, if you're going to do that as well. And then also for carpet cleaning, if you're going to do that as well. So you'll start securing those contracts to work with them people. And then, yeah, then it'll start happening in August. The cleaning will start happening in August, late July, August. But you want to make sure that like everything that is taught in the beginning part, that like that foundation part, you want to make sure all of that is done, because they are going to require that. They also require some other things as well, that's specifically for that. But everything that was taught on the foundational piece, like, I don't know if you guys kind of heard anything that me and Lisa was talking about, like all of that is definitely required when even like, when you submit that bid, like they're looking for that. And if everything is not, yes, insurance as well. And so if that's not done, they're not going to even look at your bid. The insurance is, I don't know how much though. I don't know how much it is. I think she talks about that. Or like I said, also like there's some things, because it depends on how big the contract is, how big the property is. Sometimes the company will, like, if it's like a super, super big property, sometimes they'll just cut it in 3 and have different companies, because they're too afraid to have one person to handle everything. So I think there's some variations, but like I said, she does offer a program for the academy specifically where she will literally like walk you through and go through that process with you.
And I was gonna go ahead and ask. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm hogging. Keep asking a lot of questions. So on that kind of project, would you go ahead and pay people hourly, or would you go ahead and say, this job is going to be like a week, and this is how much you're going to go ahead and get paid for this time?
No, you would pay them by percentage, just like we talk about in the academy. Because each property, how they do the pricing is per room. And I think it's like the bedroom counts as a room, the bathroom counts as a room, and the living room, kitchen counts as one room together. So if you have a 1-bedroom property, that's 3 rooms, right? And, I don't know this all the way. So I strongly encourage you guys to go look at the training. But so they'll give you a price, a dollar amount per room, right? And then what was it? But so then if it's a 2-bedroom, apartment, then it would be a 4-room unit. And if it's a 3-bedroom apartment, it'll be a 5-bedroom unit. But they give you the price per room. Like she had given me an update back in, when was this? June 17th. And she was saying that they are up to 1347. So 1,437 rooms, right? But when they say rooms, it means like, let's say 4 rooms to 1 unit, you know, or 3 rooms to 1 unit.
Mhm.
So they pay per room. And then so like you would just give them a percentage per room that they clean. Because you don't want to do it hourly, right? Because you don't want people milking the clock. You want people to have that sense of urgency to hurry up and get units done fastly with great proficient as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Good question. And say like my level of knowledge is like at a C at best. Like she is definitely a proficient at that. And then also she teaches our government contract training as well.
A question. So
Yeah.
I'm in the level of getting my cleaners together, doing their onboarding. So
Okay.
I'm just asking that since you're gonna put them on Gasto, so and then they'll be the ones to do their payment. Do they actually know that it's independent? So if they don't have to work this week, are they still gonna pay them, or do you have to send like invoice to them to know that okay, this is how much this person worked this week, or how does that work?
So, okay. Did you also see my message too? I responded back a couple minutes ago.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So with Gusto only knows the actual physical amount that you're paying them. Gusto and like Booking Koala doesn't integrate, so they don't speak to each other. So you'll have all your information in Booking Koala, right? So let's say you have 4 cleaners. Cleaner A did 3 cleanings and she's getting 300. Cleaner B did 2 cleanings, she's getting 200. Cleaner A did 1 cleaning, she's getting 100, right? So then you'll take those dollar amounts. Typically how I recommend with, you know, splitting up the accounts like through the profit first model, right? And having that separate payroll account. So when those funds are coming in to your bank account, you would then transfer those funds from your income account. So that's the account that I normally like to have designated to where all money come into. And then I would transfer however much will go to payroll. So that's 3, 5, 6. So then I would transfer 600 from the payroll account, from the income account into the payroll account. And the account that's associated with the payroll account, and then I'm so sorry. And then Gusto is the platform associated with the payroll. So then I go over to Gusto and I'm like, hey, Gusto, I click on the name. So Cleaner A gets 300, send, boom. Cleaner B gets 200, boom. Cleaner C gets 100, boom. And then that's it. So they don't know like their schedules or how many jobs or cleaning they did. The only people that know that would be Booking Koala. And your cleaners can see that. They can manage that. Sometimes they'll ask like, oh, can I get a detailed breakdown? I'm like, go look at Booking Koala because they can see all their jobs. Now, the only thing is if you don't allow your cleaners to see how much they get per job, then you may have to give them some sort of breakdown so they can know how much they got paid. But Booking Koala will show them their schedule, you know, show them like their past jobs, show them how much they got paid for. And Gusto only just sends the dollar amount.
So I have to create another account, or I just have to I don't know, because I have just one business account. So do I have to create another account for the payroll?
Now you don't have to necessarily, okay? It's you don't have to. It was totally a preference thing for me just to help me with managing everything, because you have to think about with one account, you're going to have a lot of activity coming in and out of that account. You're going to have all your money coming in. You're going to have all your expenses. So your open phone, your Gmail, your website, And then the most unknown expense will be your marketing expenses, right? Like you may not know when those funds are actually coming out because you have it set to come out after it's reached this threshold of your budget. So if your weekly budget is 60, and you have it just recirculating every time, then they'll just come and snatch their money out, right? Or send their payments. So there's a lot of activity coming in and out of the account, that sometimes for entrepreneurs, it may not be as easily to adhere to all of the activity. And it might just be better to manage it by separating those accounts. So there is a training that was taught by, I just lost her name. There's a training that's taught by a profit first like specialist, like she's actually trained in this. 2020, I read this book called Profit First, and it teaches about, just managing your business finances. And then it also talks about paying you first. So I kind of follow that philosophy or that method to the T. There's some things that I tweak and change. I kind of pretty much do that same like method in all my businesses, plus even like in home as well. But the one thing that really helped me was separating the accounts. So I have like the 5 accounts. So it's like tax account, income, payroll, expense. And I want to say this, I guess this last one is profit. Let me see. Tax, payroll, expenses, income, profit. Okay. So those are like those are the 5 main accounts, and you can have more as well. Some people have more. Those are like just the 5 main ones. And basically you set a percentage of, unless you have a flat rate, you set a percentage, of how much you want to go. So if you're in a state and you have to pay 20% taxes, then 20% out of your income amount that comes in, you're putting in your taxes. And it's not even of the income that comes in, because Stripe takes their fees too. So you almost want to make sure that you know what is the amount, like pre-Stripe fees, right? That you want to put away for your taxes. So that's the only reason why I do that, because there's a lot of in and out activity for cleaning companies when you're trying to manage those funds. And I remember like trying to manage payroll, and it's time for me to do payroll, and the money's not mathing, like it's not adding up. I'm like, wait, no, like I know this all came in, and I know that out of everything that came in, 50% was meant for the cleaners, but I don't have 50% here. And then I go look through all the activity, I'm like, oh shoot, you know what I mean? So that was like, reading that book was definitely a game changer for me.
Okay, just go through the 5 accounts again so that I can write them down.
Yes.
Sorry.
It is, I always forget. It's payroll. So that one's linked up to Gusto. Then you have income. So that would be like linked up to like your Stripe or Square. Taxes, that should be linked up to nothing, but this is where you'll put your percentage in for taxes. Expenses, so this will be linked up to your Open Phone, Gmail, Thumbtack, Google, Yelp, right? And then your profit. So this is where you would put the percentage of how much you want to pay yourself.
Okay.
Let's say yes. They also have a bank called Relay that follows the same strategy. Yes, structure as well. And I was looking at that bank, and there's another bank that does something similar to that as well. Because basically it's kind of like the envelope system, but the only thing I didn't like was it didn't actually, like, it gave me a digital envelope version of it, but it didn't give me separate checking account numbers, so that way I could have payments come out. So it was like, it allowed me to separate the funds, but when I needed to pay payroll, I still needed to take the money out of that digital virtual envelope and put it back into the account that it can be processed from. Now, I don't know if that's Relay or if that was another one, but that was like my only thing because I was looking for that, because not a lot of banks, like, you don't want to have to pay a whole bunch of checking account fees for every single checking account, or have to worry about maintaining the minimum requirements for each account, because not every account is going to maintain a high balance. The only account that's really going to maintain a high balance would be your profit account and your taxes account. So you got to just get creative. I have Navy Federal and Truist, so neither of those charge monthly service fees. YouTube has an audio version of Profit First that you can read and listen. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I love that book. That's such a good book. Oh, the book is called Profit First. Somebody's borrowing it. I would have showed it to you guys. But it's called Profit First, and it's a really, 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 really good book. I remember like sometimes when I get engulfed in things, I want to just really, really learn it. And I remember I try to get the training, but they require like too much. Thank you. Look at her. Thank you, Tiffany. That is the book, you guys. It's such a good book. It's such a good business book. To understand money, how your money works, because a lot of us as entrepreneurs, like, we can be so busy doing the things and not keeping track of our money. Oh my goodness, I've seen it so many times. I literally had a call this morning with somebody, this call was just so beautiful. I had a call this morning with somebody. She was saying, Jazz, when I first started my cleaning company, like when I first started this academy, and back then it was actually, oh, that's a digital version. Awesome. Y'all are on it. Yes, such a good book. And she was like, I started my company when you first started. And back then, you guys, it was called Vision House Academy. And she was like, but I was such in a tough financial situation. It was like, I was literally just working to live. Like everything I made went back in to my house. Right. And now she's in a place where like, she literally just became one of our new VA clients. But she wasn't managing the money right. And she's like, now I'm ready to start over. I'm implementing, actually doing the right things. And sometimes we can get in those cycles. And I was there too in the very beginning. Y'all heard my story, if you guys have, to where like it's just working and like I'm not keeping track. I know I'm making good money, but like I'm just not seeing it, right? So yeah, so that's a really good book. So she teaches that class. She's a licensed CPA, and she teaches that class and that strategy and breaks it so much way better than I can. But it's a really good training. So definitely check that out, you guys.